says, then you know the webinar is underway. See, that's an official, and I don't know who that voice is, but in today's AI world, you can name it whatever you want. I want to greet our audience again, and I'm honored to have you with us. I still see people coming in right now into our participation. Those who don't know me, I'm Mike Blinder. I am the owner and publisher of E&P Magazine. For those that don't know who we are, I'm just going to do a quick plug. Wikipedia says we are the Bible of the newspaper industry because we go back to 1884, but we're much more than that. We are the voice. We believe in local journalism and local news creation. We're independent. We have a very large audience. I am proud to say an email subscription base of over 32,000 active email subscribers and close to 60,000 unique visitors that touch us in a very varied channels, including this one. This is a sponsored webinar. And that means we have a very special marketing partner that's sponsoring this. And I got to say, Josh, you've been with me now, what, 3 years at Nota. You reached out to us when you started your company. Josh, I'm going to brag a little on your background, if I may. You're one of my favorite friends and partners because you are very involved in the editorial world, but like me, you came out of marketing and sales. Am I correct, sir?
That is correct, Mike. Great to see you as always.
Oh,
Thanks for
as
having
always,
us.
sir. You had a stint at the famous Los Angeles Times working for a multi-millionaire, correct? Or should I say billionaire?
I think, yeah, he's a billionaire,
He's a billionaire.
Patrick. Yeah, I was chief revenue officer, chief marketing officer there for years, and started this company with our other co-founder that's not on this webinar today, Ben Gerst, who is the CTO there that I met.
Yeah, you got, if I may, because we told your story before, got a little frustrated in how news was being generated. And since I think you're like me, deep in you as a nerd somewhere, you decided to start
Not
using
even that deep.
not even that deep, new
Although
innovative
compared to all the
tools.
people that work at my company, I'm I come up pretty short.
And Evan, you're the chief operating officer of Nota. Again, I want to thank you, Evan, for your contributions to helping us in our mission at EMP. Moreover, it's an honor to have you back on the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Always a pleasure to be here, Mike. I love doing these chats with you.
And now we're going to have our special friend join. Oh, by the way, housekeeping before I bring in our special guest, Hosea. We are on Zoom, duh. Zoom has a million ways you can communicate with us as your panel today. You can raise your hand. Please don't do that because I don't know what that means. You can Q&A, but we're watching the chat room and I've activated chat. So if you go in there, not only can you chat with the panelists, but you can chat with the whole room, everyone who's participating. We had over 125 register for this puppy and more are joining us as we speak. What I'd like you to do is chat to the entire group. If we say something you don't agree with, say it in the chat room. If you have a question for the panelists or for others that are participating, please say it in there. And we have some friends from Nota that are in the chat room as well that'll do their darndest if we're pontificating on another topic to get your questions answered, because this is an extremely important topic today. One of the many ones that polarize the living heck of our industry, which is AI. And it's how we're utilizing it to the best of our ability to have a sustainable news model. And I'm so glad that our friends at Nota brought Hosea in. Hosea Scott, how are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. And hello, everyone. So my name is Josiah Emmanuel Scott, or as I like to say, Hosea. I'd like to introduce myself. I am the digital and social media manager for the Seattle Medium. So I'm up here in the Pacific Northwest. I'm actually part of one of the largest minority-owned newspapers in the Pacific Northwest. So we not only have the Seattle Medium, but we also have the Portland Medium and now the Seattle Metro News. So I'm great to be here and really, really excited to talk about this topic today.
Can I get a little of your background, sir? You're nerdy, or you wouldn't be in charge of social media and all the different, tools that you're using to get efficiency in your newsroom. What is your background? How did you enter this industry? You look young enough. I think I have shoes older than you, but I want you to tell me a little bit more about yourself, and how you got into this industry and all that and more. Okay.
Yeah, so my background really is in communication studies. So I actually graduated from undergrad from Western Washington University in 2020. And from there, it was during the peak of COVID. So I basically was trying to see how I can get my start in communications. Really what my initial passion was in like digital communications. So I wanted to do something that had to deal with like the digital landscape. I noticed that it was changing a lot. So I actually wanted to see if I can work on website management. It took some time for me to get there because again, during the peak of COVID, like I was really trying to find my way into different things. I actually was started into a lot of different internships. So I actually started with Generation USA. Generation USA helped me learn more about digital analytics and really just learn more about data analytics. And I started with that. And then I moved on to with the Microsoft Reach program. And with the Microsoft Reach program, I was able to get in contact with the Seattle Medium. That was about 3 years ago. And from there on, the Seattle Medium signed me on because they're looking for someone to bolster and continue on the work that they've already started on their digital landscape. The reason why they wanted to do that is because during COVID, there was more of a need to really get that news out to people in digital setting because more people were trying to get connected while still being safe and really with social distancing. So they really had to transform the way that they're getting news to their audience. So really, that's where I stepped in and continued on work for the medium.
But let's discuss, and again, I don't want you to, I want to pull back the curtain a little. What was the Seattle Medium before your arrival? Did they have someone focusing totally on social media and on the adaptation of tools like AI? Was there someone multitasking all that? Why you? What was it before? And what is your mission now? In other words, what makes your boss say, God, we're really glad this guy's on board? You know what I mean? What are your KPIs? What do you do?
Well, I wish he was actually here to like speak more on that, but I believe that is somewhere in the audience. And if he is, like, Chris, I hope I'm representing you well when I say this. When he first signed me on, there was someone that was in my position, and what that person was really focused on was really the social media engagement of the Seattle Medium. And what they're looking for is to bolster things on the digital end, so not just handling things for like their reach on social, but really their reach on like the digital end. So that means for like search engine optimization or SEO and really just getting people onto their website. So what they're looking for was someone to manage the news on their website, pushing that news onto different social outlets and also onto their newsletter and really grow their audience. So the Seattle Medium already had a very successful reach with their audience, but they wanted to make sure that people are consistently getting the news that they have. We push out a lot of weekly local content already for our print edition, and we are also getting that out for our digital websites we're scrolling through here, Mike. So we actually have a lot of news that we cover, like not only on like a local scale, like standpoint from like just the Seattle community, but also on a national news level as well too, for anything that has to deal with like the Black community. So really, what my boss is looking for me, like when I was coming onto this, is to continue the work of like really just reaching out to the Black community. But before then, they were not using AI because AI was not part of the topic when I first signed on. Like 3 years ago, we were not talking about AI as we are today. I would say in the past like 2 years and the last previous year as well, we have been conversating more about AI and how we can utilize it in our newsroom, but really in like how we can use it in an ethical way, but also in a way that is really efficient and makes sense for us. So that's when we started reaching out to groups such as Noda and actually utilize them for our services and everything like that for our back end of our website to really push our content out quicker. Um,
What is your physical audience? I mean, I don't know if you can reveal numbers. Unique visitors, email database, social media presence, if I may ask. I mean, how wide is your footprint, sir?
yeah, so our footprint right now, I'd say, is like roughly about for our newsletter for sure. I know we are reaching about over uh 10,000 people for our combined newsletter. So that is with our marketing newsletter and also like our daily newsletter as well too. That is like across like all our newsletter channels. So we have like multiple news publications. So people are subscribing to those different newsletters. So it's about like 10,000 with that one, I believe. And then as for our social media channels, it's combined across multiple channels. I want to say that we are roughly, and this is also growing in the past couple of years because a lot of these channels are new. I want to say it's like roughly getting closer to about 7,000 with that one. And what is really unique about social is that social nowadays actually is the lowest way you can like actually reach out to people and to different types of audiences with digital content. So that is always been constantly a struggle, especially when it comes to news, because people, when they're reaching out to your news on like social media channels, that may be one of the first places that they may check, but not also ones that they may often trust. So for people to really just like to like and subscribe to us like onto our different social media channels is really amazing. And also like checking with our news there and also coming back to our website. As for our website for our daily visitors, I know that's like in a couple thousand, but I'm not sure how much it is like on a daily level. I do know it's like a couple of thousand for that. And for our print publication, I know that we go out, like we have hundreds of thousands of newspapers that go out for our print publication. And that is because we not only have subscribers to our print publication that gets out to them weekly, but we also give it out to people into different local businesses as well too, like restaurants and
Of
also
course.
churches and stuff like that. So we have a wide reach for our audience, not only in digital, but also in print. And they come back to us on our digital end because we have unique things that are in our newspaper that people can check on a digital end, such as with our business directory or anything related to any events that people can scan and also get onto with our different platforms. So we have different ways of engaging people on both print to get them back onto our digital end.
Where are you on video and where are you on podcasting and things like that? I mean, how much of your content are you converting into reels now and short video, and how are you pushing those suckers, if I may ask?
So we have conversations about how we can get into video. So we're not currently doing videos right now. We have had conversations about that. Noda actually during this presentation will show how we had ideas of talking about video because we actually have John Sumter, another person part of the Noda team, who's giving examples of how we can get into video content with Noda. So we can show like how we were conversating about it. But we actually do have a podcast show that we do about every Friday. We have Chris Bennett, who is like our leader of our company, and he really just like started leader of our publication, and he actually hosts a podcast show every Friday. So he actually leads that podcast, but sometimes I am also part of that podcast where I'll be interviewing different local businesses about what they are doing and their impact in their community.
Excellent. All right. So you look good when your digital media footprint expands. I also, correct me if I'm wrong, you look good with engagement numbers. I mean, how nerdy is your operation? Tell me, first of all, the scope of your operation. How many people in editorial, your editor-in-chief, how do you interface with them? When you're editor-in-chief, how much does your editor and editorial team look at your metrics? And this is a big topic. We report on this a lot at E&P, is you have some environments where they don't want to see the numbers. You have some, and this is, again, not my opinion, just what we report on. Some say you're looking at the numbers too much. I mean, I had the great Marty Baron on this show in the battles. He talked about what was going on at the Washington Post when, the newsroom sometimes was getting too focused on the clicks. And sometimes you got to do enterprise journalism in hopes you'll eventually get those clicks. What is your environment like? Because this is going to be a conversation about, and we're going to get to you, Josh. I thank you for being there. And Evan, this is going to be a conversation about engagement, correct? Meaning you can throw out 1 million emails and you can put up 1 million posts, but are they converting? Are they turning your audience into growth? Are you increasing the influence of your brand? So talk to me about that, the internal environment. Then we'll swing over to getting into your case study, sir.
Yeah, so we actually have a very small team. Our team is no more than 5 when it comes to like writers in like the writers' room and also our editorial team. So that includes like our leaders well too, the Chris Bennett. So really what we do is that when we meet, we talk about what is really engaging to our community. We talk about like the stories that our writers are putting out, how we're pushing those stories onto different social platforms. And really if these stories are things that are engaging to our audience. I feel like that we talk about what really gets our community talking first before we talk about like the engagement numbers and stuff like that. So like really like these are things that are important for people to know about and important for them to know, especially since we are hyper local with a lot of things that we push out, especially like on a weekly basis for our print publication. We also have to try to see like, should the story be pushed out right now because this is a very important story. I can speak onto something that we done recently with Seafair. With like the Dolls and Gents. If you were in the local Seattle community, you may have known about like Seafair and some of the issues that were happening last year for the Dolls and Gents and this year as well too, where a local youth group was basically used for advertising, but they were not basically seeing anything for those advertisements. They were also not a part of Seafair and they feel like that they're being exploited. And we cover that for our stories. So we feel like that things like that are really interesting for like our local community to like hear about and know about. Because like they're really just issues and topics that they typically don't hear from other publications. So when we are putting out content like that for stories that people are typically not seeing that are really important and engaging our community, that is what leads to like the engagements and clicks that we have. That is leads to people to have the conversations about the topics and also reaching out to us about either additional information or like really just like thankful for us like putting out the story. So like really just having stuff like that. I feel like that we also get that a lot from our sports section as well too. because we are covering youth sports in a way that no other publication really is, because we are doing stories that are focused on the youth players. So we're doing like really like highlight pieces of like local coaches and like local players, and like, you know, telling the story about like what it really is their motivation, their drive, and like the sport that they're playing, and like how they engage with the community. So really, I feel like those are the kind of ways of how we get those conversions, because we are reaching out to the community in unique ways that they typically aren't getting from other publications.
All right, so let's discuss why. When I asked Josh and Evan, who should we talk to in the NOTA community, it was you. But I love this topic because we have not really focused in on multicultural publications like yours, your deep niche, and how you still have to have that heritage of your brand and then focus on using new tools to increase engagement. So, Evan, I believe you're the one that first mentioned Zaya to me. Why? What was it about this, of the many, many, many publications you work with, you know, from the top on down? Why did you want us to focus here? What's the true story, Evan?
Yeah, excuse me. So, yeah, we were introduced to the Seattle Medium team through the partnership we have with the local media association and some of the Bloom Labs publishers that they're working with. And so, in having conversations with LMA and Chris over at the Medium, it just looked like a very amazing opportunity for us to bring our tools and technology to a publication that we knew could leverage it to do exactly what Josiah has talked about, build engagement in communities that matter to that publication. And we, as NOTA, have always felt like this industry has been underserved by technology. And so our goal is to, continue to support newsrooms, big or small, with the latest and greatest technology in the space at an affordable price that allows them to, continue to serve the communities that they, support. And so Josiah has been an amazing partner to not only myself, but our other, friend John Sumter, and he's been really, amazing about providing stats and feedback on all of the different ways that he's been able to really show value at the organization, and so we really appreciate that from Josiah, and he's just been one of the most engaged folks from a focal point that we've had at our publishing partners, and so we thought it'd be a great opportunity to get him to jump on this webinar and give some feedback.
Um, Let me ask you this. Uh, Josh has done some amazing things to help push AI tools into smaller news environments. We recently did this matching thing, Josh. That was really cool of you, where you said, okay, I'm going to match the dollars necessary because I'm tired of everybody thinking AI should go into large newsrooms. And you picked up I mean, this is a really small operation that has a lot of influence in a community. How is This is a question for NOTA and for both of you, and it wasn't on the original list, but I'm curious, how important is it for you guys to make sure that everyone is able to adapt and advance with AI tools? Josh, let me bring that to you because you're the guy with the mission here. You're trying to drive this company. How important is that for you?
I mean, yeah, we thank you for bringing that up. So we do have a grant opportunity. It's available on our website. It's our core products that help really accelerate the ability to tell your story utilizing assistive AI, and it's super, super cheap. So I think it's currently, I don't know, Evan, I don't remember. Is it less than it's $100 or less a month if you're a very small newsroom. So we want to have the tools that we provide to quite literally the largest news organizations in America available to you as well, with the same quality that we provide them,
So let's
and
talk
just make
about
it accessible.
let's talk
Yeah.
about those tools, if we may. Vanna, we just turned that letter, and it's now time to talk about these tools. And who wants to do the Cook's tour? Is that your job, Evan? Is that your Josh? Elevator pitch time. Let's talk about NOTA. If someone says to you, "All right, what the heck do you do, and
Yeah.
what do you provide?" Give it to
So
us, okay?
NOTA, if you're not familiar, we're assistive AI built specifically for the media industry, specifically for local market newspapers, radio stations, TV stations, lifestyle publications. That's all we do. All we do is assistive work. So we have our own large language model, which means that You're not working with Perplexity or OpenAI or any of the others. You're working within a closed environment where your data is safe. We only train on high quality journalism, period. So our model structure is getting trained by thousands of journalists on a daily basis at this point and hundreds of different media organizations, which means that all you're going to see from an output perspective is super high quality outputs. We can train down to a writer's tone of voice or writing style, or a section or an entire publication. And the outputs you'll see there will be really reflective of the way in which you want to express yourself. And everything's, I'll underscore this a million times, just assistive. So functionally, nothing gets created without a person overseeing it. Everything is completely editable. And what we really strive to do is to allow you to focus on telling the story and using that as the core of what you need to focus on. And we do everything else from a distribution and optimization standpoint. So we can create articles, we can optimize those articles, we can create newsletters, we can create social posts, we can create videos, we can create anything you can think of out of your story idea. And that is the power of what we do. So get your
Let's do
story to
that.
more people and optimize it. And then,
Evan, are you ready to drive? Are you set?
yeah,
Okay, let's do that. Can we do it with, and again, I love doing Noda because we go live and they always say, never go live in a live broadcast. I always have everything pre-canned. These are the tools, and full disclosure, we use them here at EMP as well. And that they continue to grow, they evolve, they change. There's new stuff here I have yet to play with, which is Clip and Vid, but we use Summon, Brief, and Social constantly. Can you just give us a tour? Do you want to use something that's coming off of the medium? Go ahead, Evan, take us on. I mean, as if you got 20 seconds, you got 5 or 8 minutes, 10 minutes of a publisher's time. Do it now. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So I can show you a couple of different things that we can do. So to Josh's point, there's the pre-publish opportunity. So how can we help you get as many eyeballs on the content you're pushing to your site as possible? So we live within the CMS environment across multiple content management systems. We have a WordPress plugin that works very simply. You draft your article. Let me go ahead and change this to the Medium. And then all you would have to, oh, sorry. All you have to do is select your brand, click Analyze Page. And what we're trying to do here is just really get you all the optimized outputs that you need to edit and make your own before pushing to the article to site.
I got to interrupt you. So WordPress is Hosea's. Is that what you use? Is that how you publish the mediums?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
we
so
actually use WordPress. So you're seeing like something that we typically really do. There are some kind of tweaks because Evan was probably getting into this. There's also like the voice feature with Noda. So like we actually developed a specific AI voice for how we are pushing out our content. So yeah, so we have like a specific way like how we engage with our audience with the voice feature as well.
So here we go. This is one of your stories, right? It's automatically analyzing in real time using this large model, the headline, correct? And
Yep. So we're able to give you headline suggestions. Let's say you like that headline, you could literally just hit select. Now that headline is automatically thrown onto the article at the top of the page. You don't have to take any additional action there. We give you things like an excerpt, a summary, tags you can use within the CMS for discovery. We give you pull quotes you might want to elevate within the article as well. And then we also give you some key points. As we know, some publishers like to, give some key point bullets at the top of an article to, give the reader a little bit of a peek into what they're about to read. One of the tabs that we see a ton of success with is our SEO tab. A lot of really small publishers don't have in-house SEO specialists. And so what we do is pull in all the best practices across multiple, inputs and give you some optimized outputs for this particular article that'll help it perform really well. And so we see a bunch of our publishers see huge page view increases when they start to leverage these tools. We give you, again, your page title, slug, meta description. We'll give you keywords, any trending keywords that might be interesting for you to add to that content as well. And then finally, within the pre-published environment, we can give you things like social copy you can think about using to amplify this article across all of your platforms. But we also do this in our dashboard environment as well. And then we finally will do a final check on your content before you publish it to make sure that everything looks good. So this is a tool called Proof. And what we'll do is make sure that, hey, have you, looked at, is this long enough? Does this have any misspellings? Do you want to, make sure you update any of your SEO metadata? And then do you have any broken links in the article that you might want to update before publishing so that you don't get dinged from an organic search perspective?
And
So
you can set the style of that, correct? Because if we follow religiously the AP style book at EMP.
yes.
If I
And
don't,
that
I
is
get hate
that
mail, but go ahead.
yeah,
I
that is the
can't
default that
capitalize every
we
headline. Go ahead. So,
For
sorry.
sure. That is the default that we have baked into our tools is the AP style guide, but you can do everything like changing your casing style. You can, to Josiah's point earlier, you can create a tone that mimics the style that you write your headlines in or your social copy in or your, SEO in. So we can obviously take that information and use that to inform how we produce outputs for you. So we make it very simple to set that up with just some examples that you feel like fully represent the voice and tone of the organization, and then you just will start to see outputs that you can leverage much more quickly without doing as much editing.
Now we have a very proprietary content management system. I'm not going to mention the name now, which means we're not integrated with you. We actually take the word. Maybe we're a little bit more archaic than some, but what we do is we have a Dropbox system of every document that's already been edited that goes for our layout. And then we use those same documents as then we post into our CMS. That's how we use you. We copy and paste the Word document into your system, and that's the data we put into our content management system. There it is. That's exactly what the tool looks like for us. So you can populate it with the URL of a story, correct?
I can, so I can just jump right over here to the URL. If it's already published,
Right.
obviously you'll have the URL. If it's not published, you can simply upload a file. It could be a text file, it could be a doc file, it could be a
That's
PDF, or you can just paste the text and you get all the same assets that you get inside of the WordPress environment right here inside of our dashboard. We also integrate with other CMSs via our browser extension. So if you're on ArcXP, if you're on Blocks, if you're on Creative Circle, if you're on Brightspot, we have our browser extension that will work right alongside your CMS. So you can get all of those same benefits that you saw in WordPress right alongside while you're working inside of any of those CMSs as well.
All right, so you're going to have to send us through a training system. You just mentioned my content management tool. We could easily just have this working on side our browser, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You saved me a step that it's still very efficient. Okay, thank you. I just learned I'm behind the times right now. And you also, which we love, is you take care of another tool that we used to use that used to recheck all of our editorial content to make sure we didn't make any errors. You've already migrated that into this as well. Let's go into social a little bit more, though, if I may, because this sounds where Hosea gets really, helps him. In other words, you're now going to, Hosea, jump in for a second. What is the social media channel that resonates? Which ones are you using for the Black communities that give you the most bang for your buck, sir?
Yeah, the most engagement that we get from our community is from Facebook. So Facebook, we have a really large and growing community. Before we started utilizing tools such as Noda, we really limited the scope of how many social media tools we're using at a time because we'd have to manually go through for each tool and also getting the content onto there. But since then, we have adopted different ways of how we have been pushing out our content. So I'm pleased to say that we have also expanded ourselves over to LinkedIn, to Instagram, to Threads. We're utilizing X as well too. And then for our other publication, we're utilizing Blue Sky. So we are slowly just growing the different ways that we're able to utilize different social media channels. And what I could say is that what I'd like to say is with this as well too. I'm really pleased that Noda has different ways of how they engage on different levels with different social media channels, including and especially with X, because there's a limited word count, and that is something that is always an issue to try to have to really get something to summarize a story and do the story justice and reach that character limit on a platform such as X or even with Blue Sky as well too. So I'm really pleased with that being part of my tool because it makes my job easier and it also really helps me push out the content, have it be unique across social media channels.
Okay, treat me like I'm a 3-year-old, Josh. How do you do this? How do you know in real time that this is how it should be posted to Facebook? This is how it should be posted to Instagram. You're going to get the best damn engagement for this effort. How do you do that? I mean, again, I'm an old guy here, and AI is brilliant, but is it easy or is it hard? What makes this work? if I may?
It's very hard. It's taken years of data scientists to get this right. The X version, for example, for the first 2 years was extraordinarily hard to do because you can't really do a character count limit. Since then, the foundational models and our ability to work with them has evolved dramatically. But what we do is we ensure that every quarter or so, the best practices for these social platforms and how people are engaging with them are evolving so that we're retraining the back end structure of how you construct the outputs per platform to optimize it to the best of its ability.
I
So,
mean, this takes away the whole idea that when in the old days, I mean, like 2 years ago, you just hire a kid because you didn't understand the channel that was on it, and the kid would be making. And I'm saying that not to be. I'm just an old guy. You would say, okay, he must know what he's doing. He knows the channel. Now you're using real time large language models to ensure that the wording is just right to get the best engagement. Am I correct, sir? This is what it's all about.
yep.
All right, and there you go. Look at this. There they are. Now. How do you, Josh, Hosea? How do you? I said Josh. I meant Hosea. How do you take that, lift it, and get it into Facebook? How would you? How does this work? How do you do that, sir?
Yeah, so what you're actually able to do is that if you go ahead and get out a preview here, Evan, there's actually a copy button
Right.
on here. So you're able to copy this, and we're actually able to put it through one of our social push tools that we have. So I'm able to do it that way. Before we have the social push tools, it's as simple as like if I were to go onto the platform as like copy and pasting it as like part of the post already. When you are doing this, like let's say you are not working with like a multi social media tool that allows you to like post on multiple pages at the same time. It's as simple as you creating any other kind of post where you put the link in there along with like the content that you have. You do have to be kind of careful when you are doing that with a platform like X because, like as Josh was saying, it really is kind of hard to get with that character limit. So if you don't have a social tool and you were to take like the copy text from X, you also have to consider the link from there already. So you have to like, make sure there's stuff like that. So yeah, there is some kind of things that you do have to be aware of, and that's why it's important to always have a pair of human eyes as you're doing this kind of work as well too, because as I like to say, I let machines talk to machines, but I'm best at talking with people. So I mean, always try to make sure that like, with the content we're pushing, I do trust like the work that is coming out and like with the outputs it has, but is up to someone like me, like the final check to make sure that this it not only makes sense, but actually can even be pushed down in the first place because if it doesn't reach a character limit at X, it just doesn't post at all. So like stuff like that, I want to make sure that we are doing those kind of checks.
I don't want to
And,
endorse a product. Let me just ask, but what is the social media? We do use Recur Post here at E&P. What is the one of choice that you've chosen, Hosea, for assisting in your social media?
Yeah, for the past couple of years, we've been using Social News Desk. So Social News Desk has been a tool that we've been utilizing. I believe the Noted tool like was working with Social News Desk some point as well too. So like that's something that we've been utilizing for the past couple of years.
Excellent. It's good to know.
yeah, one of the things we have on our roadmap for Q4 is the ability to schedule and post directly from our tool suite. So that would potentially minimize your need for an additional social scheduler. So we're excited to be rolling that out next quarter. And we've been getting asked about it for since our inception, and so we're really excited to get that going. And it'll allow you to really pull all the assets you want together: video, image, caption, push it to whatever site. You can schedule it, post it, and then we'll also be pulling down, engagement metrics so that you can understand how the content is performing across those different platforms.
Amazing. All right. And by the way, the chat room's on fire, which is good. Everybody's asking questions. I see you guys are typing in there. Do me a favor again. Some of you are asking your questions just to the panelists. Ask it to the group so everybody can see. We already had questions about multiple languages. Evan, you've been bugging me because I have some ties to the Hispanic Publishers Association and also internationally. And yeah, you're doing Spanish now. Am I correct, sir?
That is correct. We support Spanish language, and so essentially you can use our tools as a Spanish publication just as you would an English publication. So right now, this is not a translate this from English to Spanish. This is I have Spanish content. I'm going to give it to Noda, and then Noda is going to return Spanish outputs for you. We do have Spanish-speaking editors on our staff that are reviewing our Spanish outputs with our data scientists on a regular basis, improving that model through reinforcement learning. And so we're continuing to, make that Spanish model best in class, just as our English model is.
We're getting questions as to Hosea's actual engagement success, which I want to hold. Like, we're going to stick around for another 10 or 15 minutes, then we'll get to that, because I want to stay right where we are here, live in your dashboard. And there is stuff in here I have yet to play with. I am not using, maybe I should be using VidPro, and Clip. Are you ready, Evan, to show some of that stuff off or not, sir?
Yeah. So, Vid is the very simple version of a video tool that you can use to create an output. So this is meant for publishers who might, have high volume production and just want to get something out very quickly. So I'll go ahead and grab this article, jump right over here, drop that in, and we can
Again,
automatically.
you can copy and paste that in there if you don't want to use the URL. Okay, there you go. And grab something.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
And it grabs the image. And then what you'll see here is we're just going to create a short moving slideshow that includes that image that I just included. But then also you can add additional images. So right now we only have that one image because there was only one image in the article. Let me come over here to this second slide, and then I can just pull in an image from my desktop. So I'll go ahead and pull this one in. And then let me just grab one more so we can kind of fill out oh, that's the same one. Apologies. Got a couple here for you. So we're at Jimi Hendrix Park. So I wanted to make sure that we pulled in accurate outputs for that. And let me just grab one more. And so we'll go to this slide here and just pull in one more image. And again, this just makes it super simple to create a very quick video asset. So once I drop this in, I'll just go ahead and show you the preview of how easy it is to make a quick video you can publish on social.
It automatically creates that Ken Burns effect, if I can use that tool. And those words you can change on a heartbeat, right? There
You
you
can
go.
absolutely change anything you see here. Again, everything we do is completely editable. You also have the ability to, create that in vertical format or horizontal. And so this is like the super simple version of our video tool. If you jump back into Home and come over to VidPro, this is just a much more advanced video editing output. So if you do have the time to, really focus on making a very custom template for your publication. So the look, the feel, the branding, if you have a style that you want that output to have, you can come in here and make a completely custom template that is unique to your publication, and then you can save that template, share it across the organization, and then repeat using that template for future outputs. So what you see here is a more robust video editing environment. As you see here on the left, it's all the layers of the video output. You can add your own transition elements, you can add your own intro, you can add your own outro, you can create multiple aspect ratios simultaneously, you can add your own audio, you can add your own video. So this just gives you a full suite of editing capabilities for your video output. You can make the video as short or as long as you want. It could be two minutes, it can be 20 seconds. Literally, the sky's the limit with the amount of customization you can do within the VidPro tool.
Amazing. And that looks just like the video editors we use. I mean, you're basically giving someone a video editor.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very
And we
well.
want to make it as simple as possible to use. It's still very powerful, but you can lean in as much as you'd like in terms of the customization you can do.
All right, so Clip is the one that I'm most interested in because, I'll interview someone for, 20 minutes on my vodcast series, but I'm really bad in having the time to then go back through it and say, okay, that's 20 minutes, but how do I get the reel that I need? This is all new. This is brand new stuff. So show me what you got here.
So you can do a couple of things. You can set up a live stream that we monitor. So if you do have some sort of live stream, if you're a TV station, we can monitor that live stream. Or if you just have an MP4 file or MOV file that you have recorded and downloaded, you can upload that to the tool. Then you can set up a project that automatically maybe listens for specific words or topics that you can set up, and then we'll automatically generate a clip whenever that particular topic or word is stated. So just to jump inside of this video, you'll start to see that once the video starts, we automatically live transcribe that video. So we're going to give you the full transcription of this particular video output. Once the transcription is done, you can download that transcript to review it in both text and VTT format. You also have the ability to get the summary of that video as well. And then if you set up any keywords you want to listen for, we can automatically grab those clips for your review. But you can also just jump in here and say, oh, they said something about organizer. Let me see what they said about organizer. And you just type in the word that you are looking for. We'll automatically grab that clip. Now you have the ability to come in here and review the segment of the video that states that particular topic. And you see, here's all the text that is aligned to that particular topic. You can save that clip, download that clip, bring that clip into VidPro, create your reel or your asset that you then push out to social. So we make it super simple to interrogate video assets, create custom clips, and use those custom clips for distributing content. This is great for local school board meetings or town hall sessions or interviews that you're doing with your, panelists, Mike, that you can then come in here and start to really create some custom assets.
All right, so Hosea, have you shown some of this to your editorial team? And you said, and again, I love interviewing you on this because you're small. You have a very small team, right? That's
Yes.
generating a lot of content. Do you think you might be able to shift a culture there and say, if I were you, I'm making this up as I go, but if I were you, you should do all your interviews on Zoom. Make sure that you have that video so you could then start creating the video aspect. Am I getting this right, Evan? That's that simple, correct? Why do the interview just on the phone? Why not do it with video? And then you can instantly create these segments. Am I having that right, Evan?
That is right. Now, I will say this is a premium tool within the Nota tool suite. So this is something that is only available for a handful of publishers right now as we work out all of the technical elements. But as we launch this more broadly, this will be something that isn't part of like the standard suite. So when you jump onto our home screen, the standard suite is everything from sum to image on the top row and letter to social on the bottom row. Clip and draft will be premium tools because they just, are very, very powerful and have a lot of, upside potential from a revenue generation engagement perspective.
So let's stay with Vid and Vid Pro. Hosea, you said you are now looking at those tools. So now
Yes.
comes the big question. This is what we keep reporting on. Cultural issues within the newsroom. How would they adapt to this? Would they be comfortable? I hope I know your boss is on, you already mentioned that, but are you ready to leap into that and start having some fun? What do you think?
Yeah, we have been having conversations about how we are like really just like creating more engaging content and how we are making our content transferable in many different ways. Like for example, I can say that like when they were first showing us this tool, because like since I have been really receptive to Nota and also like giving them feedback, they also have been letting me know first about like tools such as the Vid Pro. So I can thank John Sumter for that. I see that he's also in the chat. So something like the Vid Pro and Vid, I actually have been able to show our newsroom and say like, how can we make this make sense for us? I feel like that's what we have been looking at for a lot of these tools. Like, how can we make it make sense for us? Because we don't, with any kind of tool, and it's not even like just for Nota, for any kind of tool, we always try to see like, how can we make this make sense for us rather than just simply utilizing a tool? How can we adapt the tool to work for our benefit? Because that's what it's meant to be. It's supposed to be a tool that amplifies what we are already currently doing and really just transform the way we're doing it. So like with something like with Vid and Vid Pro, we are able to have our content be more accessible for people, like have our content be more accessible and have it be seen like in different kind of formats as well too, because people aren't just engaging in content with simply just words. So really just like people are engaging in content like in forms of video, especially short form video. So that's something that we may be looking to create because we may be looking to create short form video to really get people back into our news content on the digital end for our website. But yeah, something like the Vid Pro and Vid Tool would really be helpful, especially as we try to grow our audience on different platforms. But when we do something like that, we want to make sure that it's something that we can make not only make sense, but something that we can also do consistently as well too.
All right, so let's we only have about 15 minutes left. So again, if you have questions, if they're talking above your knowledge level like me, feel free to ask it and you're going to get an answer. Secondly, I know, Evan, you're not done with the demo. I have yet to dive into draft, right? And this is
Yeah,
also
let me.
new.
I
Go
think
ahead.
this will. You're gonna. Oh, What's that?
Well, there's
I think
more.
you're gonna love this one, Mike. So what a draft was originally created for was our TV station groups who have those on-air transcripts where they're, using that teleprompter language, and they need to turn that into a article that they can publish to their digital site. And so what we've done is we've created the ability to pull in, unstructured kind of data or data that's structured in like a transcript format. We can pull in press releases. We can pull in pretty much any type of content. You can drop it into our tool, and we can, use that original content that you've provided us, and then turn that into an inverted pyramid style article for, copy editing, review, and then distribution on your website. So
Now you're
this
you're
also,
you're cleaning up a transcript because the transcript tool I use gives me the biggest crap I've ever seen, and then we have to go through a cleanup mode, right? This is
yep.
automatically.
So
This is you
this is
take. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is literally, we've now given you a copy edited, output with all of the different kind of inverted pyramid style sections of the output. So you've got your lead, key details, attributions, and a conclusion. And you can obviously make any changes you want to this. And once you're done making those changes, you can copy it and take it over into your content management system for, putting it into your existing kind of posting structure. But this tool also lives directly within WordPress as well. So you can actually generate this output in WordPress and then push it to a post, and then add your images, add your byline, etc. Use our tool at the bottom of the page to optimize the article for all of your headline and SEO elements, and then push it to site. So it's really a full blown bring in a press release, bring in an interview transcript, bring in, any kind of unstructured data. We can make sense of it, give you a draft article to copy edit, and then push to your site.
Amazing. I mean, this basically allows you just to record an interview and have it clean it up for you in one easy step, and then automatically go to the next step, which is turned it into a cleaned up article. God,
Yep.
it's all there. And this again is still in beta, or is this available now?
This is no, this is available now. So if interested, please reach out. I'm sure there'll be a section at the end of this that gives everybody our information. But yes, this is available to any publishers interested.
All right, so let's get into it's time for us to talk about the success, real-time metrics that Hosea, you've now had Noda under your belt and other AI tools and other tools, and you're looking at KPIs. What are the numbers here? And Evan, maybe you know them as well, that you've been able to enjoy through your effort. Give it to us.
Yeah, so for our digital reach on our website, I'm not sure if I gave this like proper number earlier, but we have about 70 to 100,000 people per month, with spikes around the fall because that is when we start our sports section. So we have like that spike there. With our email acquisition, I'm not sure if you all saw that impressive number earlier. We actually were able to improve like our newsletter subscribers by 228%. That is because of like initiatives that we do like through various campaigns throughout the year. So we were actually really thankful and excited about that. So we have really just been utilizing the Noda tool to free up more time for us to have those kind of ideas, but also the Noda tool helps us really push people back to our website. I feel like that's what's been the most helpful for us because, like as I mentioned before, we are a small news team. So like anything that we are doing is really just done by a handful of people. Like Chris had mentioned earlier as well too, like in the chat that we are a small team. So like even things with like something as video, we don't have a dedicated person for that. So anything that really just helps us get more work into like these other projects that help us make better content is always helpful. So it really just is like a testament to how we're able to like free up our time to do better work when we're able to utilize a tool like Noda.
I'm displaying the tangible results that Noda is now reporting. These are brand new numbers. Josh, back this up. What's going on here? What are you seeing from large and small newsrooms that now deploy this new AI tool? And what can you brag when people start using your tools?
I mean, I think the biggest thing from my area of the news industry and my focus, being revenue and marketing, is this is a direct revenue driving tools that we have and we're focused on now. So you can convert, notes on your phone that you've taken in the fields into a real article. You can then syndicate that article, create more articles. It just increases the surface area of advertising. It increases the engagement you have with subscribers if you have subscribers. So that is the greatest predictor, as we all know, of retention of them. There's just a lot of ways in which our tools just accelerate the work that you're already doing and give you more credit for it, whether that's through an understanding of what all the work you're doing is within the marketplace, or if it's just a straight up revenue play, which also just it effectively finds new avenues for you to generate some really significant either cost savings to create the stories that matter or new ways in which you can remain sustainable for the future. We're really excited to focus on that.
As a publisher, my email is my most important asset, I would say. My first party data, which I spent, I don't know if anyone's our story. I ignored editorial when I took this over in 2019 and just spent a year building first party data because I knew I needed that before we started looking at other aspects of the brand. It was a hard effort. That is huge to me. Every open I get to me is part of the journey to monetization. Does that make sense? So, I mean, I'm selling your product, but you should look at every open, every engagement, every headline that you're sending, knowing that when you get that, you can monetize that. And that's all part of the game. Josiah, you're nodding your head. Do you agree? I mean, that's the game, right? Getting those opens, getting that engagement, turning that Facebook person into someone who then becomes a subscriber, correct?
Yeah, because like when it comes like to newsletters, what some people like I'm not saying like fail to recognize, but like for people I feel like fail to utilize really is that you are when you have a newsletter, that is essentially a way of like how you can like, show people who are looking to invest with you, looking to advertise with you. That is a way of engagement for them as well too. So like in like your newsletters, for example, right there you can already have an advertisement and that leads like more opens and possibly leads to people going to that link for that advertisement, whether that is through a collaboration for like a local entity or for even like for state government, like if you have like any kind of like job posting stuff like that that someone may be sharing with you, those are another kind of ways, kind of like how you have like inserts in like a newspaper. Newsletters have the same exact thing when it comes to advertisement. So really just like important ad placements and doing stuff like that that can lead to people like generating cash with you because if you have like a large group of people who are like a party your newsletter subscriptions, you can pitch that to someone who is looking to advertise for you. And that is revenue that goes back to your newsroom to keep doing the amazing work that you're already doing.
We just put out an editorial. It was okay. Guy Tasaka is our tech dude. We call it Tasaka's Tech Talk. He basically today, and when he put out his piece, yelled at the industry, and this is why I want to stay with you, Hosea. He basically said, "Look, you're using ChatGPT for free for yourself. Why the hell are you not investing in AI tools in your newsroom right now to increase efficiency?" And again, we have this cultural battle in our industry where we've been accused as an industry and I've been doing this for 20. My first goal was to aggregate classifieds in 2003, and we lost that battle. I mean, to get this industry to move quickly into technology. And we hear it all the time. We got to wait and see. We got to see where this is going. Ethically, I understand that. So let me ask you, Hosea, do you have loud and proud your AI policies on your website? Do you tell people how you're using AI? And are you comfortable with how you're doing that? May I ask, sir?
Yeah, so we actually developed our terms and conditions on our website for like the different tools that we're utilizing on our site and how we're utilizing it because as you said, Mike, it is a battle of ethics really. That's what it always is when it comes to news. It's like how are you putting out news that is really ethical and also like tells the truth? Because another thing on the AI is like you really have to monitor the outputs for the tool because AI is not perfect just like people and it could get it wrong. And it is our duty as like journalists and as also people who are working in these newsrooms to make sure that the outputs are correct and accurate. So as we're utilizing these AI tools, like to get these outputs, like even for social posts or even for things that are or actually in the article itself or for the excerpts, what have you, making sure that those outputs are correct because AI is not here to like, as it is right now, like for our newsroom to take away our jobs. It's really just to make sure that our jobs are more efficient. But it is up to us as people who are still in these roles to make sure that it is ethically done, correct, and accurate, and also to make sure that it is reaching the people who need it most. So as we're doing these people like injustice, we have to make sure that we do our due diligence to really make sure that these outputs are correct.
Josh, you must get this question all the time. Publishers that say, I don't know if I can convince my newsroom to adapt. What do you say to those publishers today? I know you get frustrated, I bet. I can see it.
We don't get frustrated. No, I mean, I think that the opportunity is there. Once you understand that these are just tools like Word was, that they're just there to accelerate the ability to tell a story in different formats, generate revenue, and honestly serve your mission better for the community you're trying to reach out to, then the conversation shifts because this isn't stealing your job. This is just helping more people engage with the work you do. That's really it.
So funny,
Um,
my daughter is starting class at a community school here. She's 22. And they have a new tool that's AI driven. They have on their phone this app that when they attend a lecture now, AI is automatically helping them transcribe it in the classroom. And I would kill for that when I was pre-med at GW. I'm thinking, but what's wrong with that? What's wrong with helping the learning curve? You see what I'm going? I thought it was fascinating. It gives her the note, and she can actually do similar things like you were suggesting, putting in the salient points she wants it to monitor through the class in order to get that data. Evan, your pitch now to that, because this is it, to the publisher or news editor or a person who's saying, look, I'm just a two-horse operation here. I don't know if I have the time, energy, and effort to especially keep an eye on this as a tool that I should be using. What do you say to those naysayers, Evan?
I mean, I say, you have to kind of look at history and what technology has done in this industry over the course of time. And, taking a slower approach to addressing technology has been detrimental to a lot of the publishers that we've, grown to know and love. And so we want to prevent that, which is why we've created these tools to make them very, very easy to implement, very simple to use. The UX and UI is deliberately built the way it's built so that there's a very low learning curve to adoption. And we also integrate with, as many CMSs and tools as possible to really reduce that friction for leveraging the tools. And so if your complaint is you're too small and don't have time, we're literally building tools to help you give back time to do the things that you care about. So I would argue that it's a little bit of investment in looking at tools like ours or any other tool that gives you more productivity. I think is a worthwhile endeavor so that you can maintain your competitive advantage and continue to serve your communities.
Final question for Hosea. Hosea, the promise of this webinar, the title was maintaining your soul, your brand. The Medium is a brand, and it's a credible brand, an award-winning brand. It has a mission that you have to has in any way, shape, form, or size your mission over the last 3 years there of adapting into the world of all these new tools. Have you tarnished that brand at all, sir? I want an honest answer. I know your boss is watching, but has your brand in any way, shape, form, or size been tarnished, or has it evolved? What
It's
would you say?
evolved. I'd say it's evolved. I'd say that like the core mission of the medium is that we deliver a message from the people to the people. And really what we have been doing, like with a tool such as Noda, is that we've been utilizing it as a tool. It is not a replacement in our newsroom. It is not like a whole role that has been filled. It is a tool to help amplify all the roles in our newsroom, from the writers to the editors to me as like someone who handles the things on the social and digital end for our website. It is a tool that we've utilized to get that message out to the people. So what I can say, like for a tool such as Noda, is like how we've been able to like maintain our image and our brand and our soul is that it's never left. It really has just been something that we have always been walking forward with when we're talking about as we're looking at different tools, not even just AI tools, just some tools in general. Does this make sense and how can we make it make sense for our newsroom? And when it comes to adopting AI tools, it's the same thing. It's like how have we made sure that this is something that makes sense for our newsroom, that we can utilize for our newsroom, and also that can amplify what we're already doing for our community. So I could say like probably like with the Noda tool, it really has helped us amplify what we've been doing. Like especially when it comes like to SEO, we have been able to increase our organic reach of people going onto our website. Because as I said earlier, social is not really the main way of how you're driving people to your website. It actually is through organic searches and through
Here, here.
searches through like through Google and other search engines like Bing and stuff like that. Um, So really just getting people organically as they're looking up for local news. Like if they're looking up, like for example, in the Seattle area, like if people are looking up waterfront, you want to make sure that your article about the waterfront is one of the very first things up there. And if you have a great SEO score for your article, people are seeing your content at the very top and are going to click on you first. So we are already creating that content. It's really just getting that content out to the greater community. So I'd say that we have already been creating that content. We've already been creating that engaging content. It's really just like with a tool like Noda, how we're getting that content out to other people to improve the way that it is being shown to other people. So as we are looking at ways like how we, as a writing staff, like and everything, as like a editorial board and everything like that, as we're creating these engaging content, how we're getting that content out to the community.
There you go. It's been a 1-hour journey. Our guests, obviously, Josiah Scott, head of social media, digital for an amazing award-winning publication. I keep saying the Seattle Medium. I did not. Don't forget the Portland Medium as well, right? And
Yeah, we have multiple publications. So we have the Seattle Medium, the Portland Medium. We also have the Seattle Metro News, and yeah, so we also have like we have multiple print publications. We also have digital, multiple digital sites as well too. So
there you go.
we engage with our community in many different kind of ways, and throughout like the state of Washington and also in Portland and Oregon as well too. So yeah, we have multiple publications.
We also have our guests from a very, very important supporter of our mission here at ENP, and we thank them kindly. Josh Brando, the CEO of Noda. You will find everything you need to know about Noda at heynoda.com, and Evan Young, COO. By the way, you see on your screen, sales at heynoda.com. I'm going to release your very hard to understand email addresses. May I do that, Josh and Evan? Because they're just very difficult.
Yeah.
Josh at
Super difficult.
heynoda and Evan at heynoda.com. I never have to look those up. It's so easy to type them in. Thank you for your attention. I hope we did serve our purpose and help educate, inform, and enrich the news media community. We thank all of you for attending. We've gotten a lot of questions in Q&A. Please reach out to these guys if you need more. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.